सुनने वालों को सिराज ज़ैदी का बहुत बहुत प्यार भरा आदाब, नमस्कार and good afternoon. Welcome to Apna Radio, broadcasting at 93.9 Dublin South FM. Each Thursday from 3 to 4, I'm here broadcasting from the studio to the world. Tune me in. सुनने वालों को सिराज ज़ैदी का बहुत बहुत आदाब, नमस्कार, प्यार भरा आदाब, प्यार भरा नमस्कार and प्यार भरा सत श्री अकाल and good afternoon. You're very welcome to the program. You're listening to 93.9 Dublin South FM. Every Thursday I'm here until 4 o'clock and I hope you can remain with me until 4 o'clock as well, because we do try to shed serious lights on what's going on in the world, what's going on back in India and Pakistan, war and peace and all that. That is very much the news of the week today. And of course, the news of the week is governed by Charmaine Colvin, and Charmaine is here to do the news of the week. So I would ask or request Charmaine to take it away, the news item. And so sit back, relax, and see what's it about.
Good afternoon. You are listening to Apna Radio 93.9 Dublin South FM. I'm Charmaine Colvin, and here is your weekly news update. On India this week, an associate professor at 𝐀𝐩𝐧𝐚 University was arrested last Sunday in Delhi regarding his remarks about the recent military hostilities between India and Pakistan. He was also alleged to have disparaged two women Indian defence officers and undermined their role in the armed forces. India's top court has now granted interim bail to Ali Khan Mahmoodabad, but has refused to put a hold on the investigation against him. Mahmoodabad is accused of endangering national sovereignty and promoting enmity between groups based on a complaint filed by a youth member of the governing BJP. He denies all allegations. While the investigation is ongoing, Mahmoodabad has been barred from writing any online article or making speeches related to the two public social media posts relating to his arrest. 𝐀𝐻 University said it was heartened that the professor had been granted bail, although many academics have called the allegations baseless and the arrest a form of censorship. Mahmoodabad had been writing in response to the deadly attack in Pahalgam earlier this month, which claimed the lives of 26 people and sparked huge tensions between India and Pakistan. Following on from the deadly Pahalgam attack on the 22nd of April, which ended in a ceasefire between India and Pakistan, who both claimed victory, China's defence industry is basking in the jubilation on Chinese social media as the supplier of the J-10 and J-17 jets, which Pakistan claims to have shot down at least 6 Indian planes. After India's response to the attack, called Operation Sindoor, the conflict with Pakistan escalated with both sides, using drones, missiles and fighter jets. India reportedly used its French and Russian-made jets, while Pakistan deployed its J-10 and J-17 aircrafts, which Islamabad co-produces with Beijing. As well as downing Indian planes, Pakistan claimed to have shot down the newly acquired French-made Rafale fighter jet, which Delhi has refused to confirm. Chinese experts view the aerial combat as a big advertisement for the Chinese weapons industry, while for India it acts as a wake-up call. Experts say India is acutely aware that it needs to accelerate investments in its homegrown defence manufacturing industry and speed up international buying. Parts of the southern Indian city of Bengaluru, also known as India's Silicon Valley, are underwater after heavy rainfall, which has killed 3 people, including a 12-year-old boy. The city is on high alert for more pre-monsoon showers next week, due to cyclonic formations over the Andaman Sea, according to authorities. Many parts of Bengaluru received over 4 inches of rain, which is a record since 2011. Heavy rainfall has also caused property damage, causing the death of a 35-year-old female employee of a software company called 𝐻𝐳 when a compound wall collapsed on her. Officials are facing criticisms about the city's crumbling infrastructure and deluged roads. Delhi-based think tank Global Trade Research Institute has said that a chance manufacturing investment that was moving from China to India could either stall or head back as a result of US President Donald Trump's latest negotiations. Last week, Trump's tariffs on China dropped from 145% to 30% versus 27% for India, meaning value-added growth is in danger. Last month, Delhi was jubilant when Apple indicated that it was shifting most of its productions of iPhones headed to the US from China to India. It may still happen despite Trump telling Apple CEO Tim Cook not to build in India because it was one of the highest tariff nations in the world. Before China's new tariff was announced, early signs showed Indian exporters stepping in to fill the gap left by Chinese producers. New export orders surged to a 14-year high, according to a recent survey of Indian manufacturers. Nomura also pointed to growing anecdotal evidence of India emerging as a winner from trade diversion and supply chain shift in low and mid-tech manufacturing, particularly in sectors like electronics, textiles and toys. A tough business climate has long frustrated foreign investors and stalled India's manufacturing growth, with its share of GDP stuck at 15% for 2 decades. Modi's production-linked incentive scheme has delivered only limited success in attracting investment shifting from China. A lone grey wolf has been spotted along the Yamuna floodplains near Pala, where the river enters Delhi, in a rare wildlife sighting in the city's northern fringes. Last week, a wildlife enthusiast spotted the rare animal, a species which has not officially been recorded in Delhi for decades. Although the sighting has not yet been verified, experts are excited about what it could mean for biodiversity and habitat conservation, saying that it shows the resilience of wildlife, especially in heavily urbanized areas like Delhi, and demonstrates the need to protect the remaining green corridors. And finally, Indian writer, lawyer and activist Banu Mushtaq has made history by becoming the first author writing in the Kannada language to win the International Booker Prize with her short story Heart Lamp, featuring 12 short stories between 1990 and 2023. Heart Lamp poignantly captures the hardships of Muslim women living in southern India. And that's all from India this week. You have been listening to Apna Radio 93.9 Dublin South FM.
Thank you very much indeed, Charmaine. Thank you for covering such a great ground in India this week. But it is quite disturbing, in fact. 2 points that I plucked out from your news item today is the arrest and then subsequent release of the Professor Ali Khan Mahmoodabad. Now, Mahmoodabad is an area near Lucknow, and Mr. Ali Khan is a professor. He's a very respectable man, and he also the son of Raja Sahab Mahmoodabad, which is a principality, and so he's an old family sort of connection from Mahmoodabad. So he himself called himself now Ali Khan Mahmoodabad, because he's from Mahmoodabad. As in tradition in Lucknow, a lot of people call themselves Lucknowi because they just wanted to, make sure that the people would understand where they come from. Now, this particular act is just unbelievable act, because what is happening in that part of the world in so-called free democracy in India, I don't want to criticize anything, but currently what is going on in the context of the Indo-Pak war is that some government agents and some government individuals are going beyond what is recognizable civil act and just at the whims of somebody making any comment, social media comment on anywhere, and can be informed to the police, and the police could go and arrest that person. Now that is beyond comprehension of any civil society, and that is going on right now in there. The action was taken on the complaint by a BJP Yuva Morcha leader. Now, Yuva Morcha leader of BJP has got more power than somebody who is a respected professor who made a comment on the two individuals who were responsible for the actions taken by the government of India as a army officers. But in what context he talked about it, there was no appreciation of that. A blatant, a violation just because he is Ali Khan Mahmoodabad, son of Raja Sahab Mahmoodabad, high-profile Muslim guy who is basically a respected professor, and he could be caught, and it could be what is going on that you cannot even say something on social media? You can't write anything on Facebook. You can't really say anything. You can't criticize anybody. You can't actually open your mouth. And if you do, you'll be arrested. What kind of a civil society are we, democracy and democratic environment are we living into? It has gone beyond the human subconditions. It has been, and they say that it was in connection with some comments, connected with the Operation Sindoor. Surely people have got things to say. In a statement and he's professor of Ashoka University, in Haryana, where of course the BJP government exists as well. So we have been made aware that Professor Ali Khan, just because his name is Ali Khan rather than anybody else, has been taken into police custody earlier today. And why in police custody? Well, what is police custody has got to do with this? If you have any issue, talk to the individual, follow the course and follow the conversation and sort it out, the issue itself. So this is something which is very disturbing, but that's the norm, I suppose, post sort of Pahalgam attack and a 2-day war. And Sharad has got actually today a lot of things to talk about peace and war and peace in that part of the world, which is also happening. But next issue that I would like to talk about it is another interesting issue, and that is happening in the world out there. And the whole world is doing absolutely nothing, watching. And no physical action can be taken against this barbaric act of. I won't go there. As yet. I like to listen first. But by the way, the professor is released, and he's stopped. He's been told not to. This is what it is. You could be arrested, and then you could be released, and you could be told, no. Now you can't write anything. Now you can't say anything. Now you can't open your mouth. So this is not a democratic environment of a famous democratic country, one of the largest democracy in the world. It was obviously, everybody is saluting, everybody is praising Colonel Sophia Qureshi and Wing Commander Waimika Singh. Those are the two people. He, I think, made some kind of remarks, and then in what context the remarks were made, that was not been cleared. And they said that at least those sort of things should be clarified, rather than people just at the whims of somebody's get arrested and all that. But anyway, I'll take the comment from Sharad Awasthi, who is basically talking about war and peace in that part of the world post Pahalgam attack and all that. So sit back, relax, and enjoy and listen to it, and see what you think of him.
Well, this is 25th year of the 21st century, and there are so many surprises I am getting when I see the so-called developed world. The world where the weaponization, the modernization of society, the connectivity of people should have been moving in a particular direction. But then, to my surprise and my confusion, we are only heading towards the 18th century ways of doing things, to the old century ways of resolving conflict, through wars, through annihilation, through dehumanization of societies, and the politics of violence. with the situation of India and Pakistan, I don't know whether to talk about in the global perspective or in the perspective of the daily battles of he said, she said, of the social media post, of the delegations of member of parliaments going around the 33 countries talking about how India is affected by terror, which should not be a news to these 33 countries, or should we talk about the global outlook about the 21st century conflicts? War is not glorious and war is not cinematic. War always have been brutal, disproportionate, and most devastating for the poor. The only real victors in modern warfare are defense contractors and their commission agents. The global military complex is now worth about $2.5 trillion. Some might say that pharmaceuticals and the oil industry are the richest and the greatest, but no, pharmaceutical is only 1.5 trillion. At least they are making people's life better. Oil industry is 750 billion, less than a trillion. At least it is running our vehicles, it is heating our homes, it is generating electricity. There is a purpose, peaceful purpose to pharmaceuticals and oil. But astonishingly, the global military industrial complex is only bringing bullets and bandages to the society. All the 25 years of 21st century, we have seen the toll of modern warfare and the numbers of human life lost as a staggering statistics. Statistics should not be used with the human lives, but we as humans have not come up with another word which would replace statistics whenever the human lives are lost. According to the Cost of War project, post 9/11 conflicts have directly resulted in deaths of over 900,000 people. And indirect deaths, I would say, about 4.5 to 4.7 million. 45 lakh to 50 lakh people have lost their lives post 9/11. And these are casualties in Afghanistan, Iraq, consequentially in Syria, Yemen, it continues, and other areas affected by the military operations and interventions by the US and the NATO's and the West. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine, hundreds and thousands have been killed. You could see the Ukrainian refugees in Britain. The real numbers we don't know. We would only get to know after many years when the conflict in Ukraine have come to an end. There are so many wars and battles going on in Africa. We don't know those numbers. It is unbelievable that this 21st century of developed humanity, of science, technologies, of vehicles going to the moon and the Mars, the death tolls are in these numbers as a result of war. Is it the war economy, or is it a solution that we are pursuing with bullets and weapons and modern weaponry and modern army? While military interventions are justified as means to restore peace or protect national interests, we are seeing frequent failure to achieve the lasting stability. If at all the military solution would have helped India and Pakistan resolve their issues, it would not have taken 80 years to reach here. If at all military solution was helping, we wouldn't have seen the destruction of Gaza and the death of innocent civilians, children and women in such large numbers. If at all military intervention would have resolved issues, 2-decade-long active war in Afghanistan would not have culminated into the return of Taliban to the power. And in between, who is responsible for the loss of lives? In between, who is accountable for losing a family member when the solution is ineffective? On the contrary, India has to stand against the terror attacks. India cannot be a soft target. Indian borders cannot be porous that somebody comes in and kill innocent civilians having a good time and a holiday in the beauty of the Kashmir Valley. But then it has to be a sensitive military and security solution to prevent the terror attacks. The solution to the security of India cannot come from the sofas and the air-conditioned studios of the other parts of India, where the rhetoric and the dehumanization of the war is shouted, is proclaimed by those who have never seen a war zone. It cannot be by those who have not lost a dear family member in a war. What we have seen during the Operation Sindoor and after that, by those who have taken all the steps to do the loose talking on the Godi media, it only shames the very education level that India has. In the name of patriotism, people have taken to social media and to the national televisions to call for a nation to be wiped out. That is close to be a genocide. India has never stood for that. Shouting slogans of destroy them, finish them, wipe them out. This is unbelievable for a peaceful, loving nation. It's a disease that India is suffering from when it comes to the media, when it comes to politicians targeting the decorated colonels of the army, decorated lady officers of the army. It is by no accident that our media is so much into this loose talking. India has become a society of trolls. India has become a society of insane rhetoric of patriotism, misplaced nationalism, the kind of warmongering we witnessed on the television, social media, and the political rallies. It only portrays a profound ignorance about the danger that is associated with the realities of the war. And who are these people who are shouting most for the wars? Are these the soldiers? No. Are these the diplomats? No. These are the people who are the least educated. These are the people who have least understood the difference between a war and a cricket IPL match. These are the people who have least understood the difference between a bullet and a cricket ball. Here is a piece of statistics. So week 17, the Pahalgam terror attack happened. The TRP rating was 178. Don't go by the numbers, just a reference. The nation was shocked by the terror attacks, by the pain the families have to endure. But then the Operation Sindoor happened after 2 weeks and the TRP went to 254, about 60% higher, because there is an excitement there. Pain wasn't selling. The excitement of a war was selling on the television. And this was much higher than the Lok Sabha election results. So protecting the democracy or getting interested in the democratic process of India is not as exciting as the Operation Sindoor, because the narrative of misplaced nationalism and the misplaced patriotism, loose talking, was so prevalent during the Operation Sindoor and after that. And because the ratings were so high on the media, we all witnessed the misbehavior of the TV anchors, so-called renowned TV anchors, talking about the armed forces, their strategies, and how they entered into an enemy country. Shameful how we are measuring our intellectual understanding of war. It is shameful how the media and the people and the trolls are understanding the lives of our soldiers at the borders, how we are understanding the abilities of our diplomats. There is a serious problem growing in our society. If we have to stand against the terror, if we have to stand against the divisive forces from outside the country, we have to teach our own population that India has to stay united. There is a respect that we need to have for the soldiers, for the lives of soldiers, how we tackle the terror, and how we find a political solution with our neighboring countries. We need to invest in education, civic education of India. It's a broad brush solution, but then that's the only way to go forward if we have to live peacefully with our neighbors across the western borders or the northern borders. When our diplomats talk about peace, India is taken as the soft target. This is a mistaken belief that those who advocate peace are weak. To talk about peace is not passive. It is the hardest choice in the world, in today's world, where everybody is tending towards violence. And to talk about peace requires moral compass. It requires moral clarity. It requires intellectual courage. And to talk about peace, it requires emotional maturity. Peace requires discipline. Peace requires education. The best of our minds in bureaucracy, they have to do the talking for peace across the world. And that's what they are doing. But then we have to defend our borders. We have to leave our windows open for fresh air to see what's new in the world. But we cannot leave our doors open. We cannot leave our gates open for the terrorists to come in at will and harm our innocent civilians. But then our country has to understand that war cannot be justified in the name of honor, in the name of religion or righteousness. This is 21st century. India has to show the path to the world, to the neighbors, that peace can be achieved by staying strong, by defending our borders, by honoring our army, and by educating the civilians about the value of life. With those thoughts and the confused state of the Indian youth those running their uncontrollable fingers on the social media, the loose talking on the Godi media. The idea of peace have to come from the strength of India, the strength of humanity, the strength of the mothers who have given their children to defend the country. Let peace prevail. I leave you until next week. Stay informed, stay safe, and dutifully ask questions.
Thank you so much indeed, Sharad, for your beautiful interpretation of war and peace. And I can't be too praiseworthy of your words, and your, whatever you have just said is unbelievable. That is the way the world is interpreting the war. And, in the old days, the people used to say that war is the solution. War is not the solution. Peace is the solution. But on the contrary, peace is nobody's baby anymore. Peace has not been discussed and talked as much as it should have been. And gung-ho, social media-driven, uneducated youth, uneducated bigots who have hatred for the humanity are actually doing what I call it a injustice to the peace, because you see, the peace to them came very cheap, because it's nearly 1947 was the year when India got independence from the British Raj, and that was a very bloody rulers who were actually ruling India brutally, and then eventually the freedom fighters fought tooth and nails in order to make. But what they have done is that they left what they call it a big bone in between the two dogs fighting, and that is the Kashmir bone. Between the two countries, India and Pakistan, has been divided. And ever since, people who do not understand, these people who are actually crying for war are recently, in the last 20, 30 years, have been, they're in the 30s, 40s, 50s, are born post-independent. They know nothing about the efforts have been made of building bridges, building peace with neighbors. That's the only way to achieve the peace in the region, which will translate into prosperity. Imagine if you allow the neighboring SAARC, I mentioned SAARC nations, Southeast Asian countries, which were being built by, at the time of Rajiv Gandhi, and SAARC nation was being an idea built on the model of Europe, EU, that if EU can come together, why not the neighboring country with India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, and Maldives, and all these countries who are immediate neighbors of India, can achieve by combining their resources, manpowers, and know-how in terms of achievement, what they can achieve. On the contrary, in the last 10 years, what we have seen, and by the way, this is what is disturbing, is that if you speak against that kind of rhetoric and that kind of environment that has been growing, you can be in trouble. And that is something very, very disturbing, very, very disturbing, because people have got a right to say, people have got a right to freedom of speech. There is a such thing called freedom of speech. So much so that, talking about that, there is a channel in India called Republic Channel, run by Arnab Goswami. And I have no hesitation of labeling him as a ignorant broadcaster. He's banned, by the way, in the UK. Ofcom, which is our regulatory body, have banned his channel, so-called Republic Channel. Do you know what he said? He said the Congress headquarters, just because there's a picture of a building in Istanbul, in Turkey, he actually, and it's written in a Turkish language, but the first word is Congress. I mean, of course, the Congress is a very common word. You have a U.S. Congress, you have Congress everywhere. No, he said that that's a headquarter of the Indian Congress Party. Now, that has been absolutely flabbergasted comment that has been made by this ignorant guy. I mean, and the local social media broadcasters and people like Sakshi Joshi, people like, the people who have their own channel, they are Ravish Kumar, they all have criticized, but he speaks at the top of his voice on his television channel. He's an obnoxious individual who had been in trouble with Salman Khan in the past by making some comments, but Salman rebutted him in such a way that he got arrested and everything. But then again, he got freed just because he's a mouthpiece. Mouthpiece broadcasters are mushrooming in India. And so much so that the Gaudy media has been labelled in the recent war, that the government itself said that don't listen to those media interpretation of the war, because they are absolutely telling lies and spreading fibs on broadcasting that, Karachi has been hit, Islamabad has been taken over. That kind of nonsense broadcasting standard has been ever lowered in Indian broadcasting channels, so-called Gaudy media. Gaudy means the lap, the people who sit in the lap of the government, who are the one who are broadcasting such nonsense, absolute nonsense. Now, this good gentleman, Arnab Goswami, he then, of course, when the pressure has built up very quickly, that to talk about it, and the Congress government have threatened to take a legal action against him. Not only that, they filed actually a legal action against him to completely telling a lie to the nation by this saying. And on top of that, why Turkey? Important and interesting interpretation, because Turkey, as soon as the war broke out between India and Pakistan, Erdogan, a Turkish president, announced that he is supporting Pakistan and sidelining Pakistan. And now that has gone like a crazy reaction in India. People are chopping their holidays. People are not going to Turkey, boycott Turkey, ground handling operation of Turkish Airlines, which has been doing a great job in Delhi airport, Mumbai airport, has been suspended, and the hostility has been increased between India and Turkey. Of course, India is a big commercial market for Turkey. A holiday market is very big in terms of our films get shot in Turkey regularly. 𝐬𝐻𝐴 was shot there, and so the film stars go there and all that. So India, and of course, it's a trading partner with India and all that. So, but that's beside the point. No, just because he made a comment on that has been taken as a sacrosanct comment, and then the reaction is just a bizarre reaction that has happened with this kind of comment. Anyway, so these are the things that are happening, and of course, the second thing is happening is the sending out of intellectuals, well-spoken, English-speaking individual like Shashi Tharoor, who is the president of the India Congress Party, has been asked by the government of India, and particularly Mr. Modi himself, because that's how he does. He approaches individuals personally. Remember years and years ago, he wanted to market Gujarat for the tourist. Who did he ask? Amitabh Bachchan. Mr. Bachchan has been asked to go to the Bhuj and do an ad by the topmost ad agency. So he plucks people, those who know, and Owaisi, Asaduddin Owaisi, who also an opposition member, and he speaks in Parliament very strongly about issues and things like that. These two individuals has been picked up. Now, it's amazing, the kind of policy, the kind of shatranj, I call it, chess moves that he makes by picking up these two individuals to travel to 30 countries, 37 countries, and to talk about it. What are you going to talk about it? Everybody knows what happened. Everybody knows black and white that, yes, country has been at war with Pakistan. Why? Because still they didn't find those. My point is very clear, black and white. Find those 6 individuals. Who were those 6 individuals? How can they enter into a country like India? Our borders are not porous border. They are heavily guarded with 700,000, nearly 1 million army between India and Pakistan. How can they allow it? And there was no security measurement around that Pahalgam that day. All security has been withdrawn and all that. Anyway, that's a deeper question to ask, that how and where are those 6 people who killed 27 people. And because of that, tit for tat, immediately without any rationale, the war decision has been taken. A free hand has been given to the army. And fairly, surely, I mean, that was inevitable that army would do everything with what they're supposed to do in order to eradicate so-called the terrorists. Now, who are these terrorists? Surely they hit the target, as I covered in my program before, the 6 targets, and those targets were Jaish-e Mohammadi and Lashkar-e-Toiba and all the other terrorist camps. They were and the mosques, and they were operating from there. That region of Pakistan, Kashmir region of Pakistan. And so they were sitting there, doing all sorts of terrorist activities for years. It's not one-off thing. But anyway, this is a very complex thing, atrocities and hatred that has been inflicted again, which would be, long time that it will take to repair, because damage can be done very quickly, but the repair of that damage takes years to one generations to actually literally to come up with some sort of I would say healing process, because healing and peace takes time. So hence peace is more difficult than the war. But the war is easy because you have few Kalashnikovs, few guys go out there and the army starts shooting and killing. And who gets killed? Innocent people. The civilian gets killed, not the people who are the real culprit. Anyway, I'll take a quick break. Don't go anywhere, and I'm going to talk about some other important things. So sit back, relax, and take a very quick break.
South FM. You wouldn't buy a car without knowing its history. So why would you buy a story without knowing who's telling it? Come here and I tell you. It's not always easy to verify what you see, read, or hear. But now there's help. Visit www.bemediasmart.ie. Stop, think, check. Be Media Smart. Brought to you by Media Literacy Ireland, supported by RTE. 93.9 Dublin South FM.
Indeed. Welcome back to the program, and this is 93.9 Dublin South FM. Now, the other important issue that I promised to talk about it is of course, everybody is shouting at the top of their voice, is the annexation of Gaza. 2 million people became the open prisoner, and children are dying literally as we speak right now. And the defiance of Benjamin Netanyahu not allowing the world aid trucks. Hundreds of trucks are being diverted and lying somewhere else, being being removed from the line where they're supposed to go. And the food is not reaching to the starving children. Now, that is nothing new, because that's been going on for that. On top of that, those people who are humans, children, women, men, are being bombarded regularly every day. In a few weeks' time, yes, you will eradicate the few thousands left of so-called, used to be 2 million when before the 6th of October drama has been created. Indeed, that was a drama created by the Israeli authorities of, again, same policy. Who were the Hamas terrorists who came to do the 6th of October job? Now, why can't... And since then, those are the people who was being hunted by the so-called, the most sophisticated intelligence service in the world, the so-called sophisticated army in the world. They are in charge of the region, and they cannot find the the kidnappers and the kidnapping people and all that. That has been created as a shield, as a pretext, as a facade to carry on the atrocity, to carry on the impunity, the war, the killing with full impunity. Now that has been exposed to the world now, But there's not a word from Donald Trump to say anything, because he wants to build the Riviera there. He wants to build the the apartments, the luxury holiday apartments with his son-in-law Kushner and all the other gangs of property dealers who are basically working with Israeli government to do that. No respect for humanity, no respect for starving children, and the world is unable to do anything. There was a chat this morning in the Dáil Éireann. Ivana Bacik has raised the point that she was very, very emotional, and she raised the point and directly hold Taoiseach morally responsible for doing more, that we are not doing more. We should do more in order to protect, in order to create a ceasefire, in order to create the stop, the killing, random killing, and indeed get the aids to the people who are starving, who are absolutely displaced, and their houses and everything is gone. Rubbles. It's a construction site, because that's what Donald Trump has said, that it's a construction site. We'll build it. We'll build a beautiful Riviera and all that. What about the 2 million people who live there? What about they're gonna shove it around here, there, and a few thousands here and a few thousands there, which will be killed in the meantime. A lot of people will be killed, and whatever is left, few hundred, few thousand, you can send it to Egypt and neighbouring countries and all that. So that's wiped out completely. Annexation of Gaza, that's been going on for 70 odd years, and no demonstration, no. I really feel for Richard Boyd Barrett, who really in the Dáil Éireann used to shout at the top of his voice for the poor, destitute Palestinian people. He's got a throat cancer, so he's out of action at the moment. My commiseration and my sympathies with RBC, Richard Boyd Barrett, RBB, we call it, and hopefully he'll recover soon. But the way he used to actually articulate his point in the Dáil Éireann has been commendable. But those words were falling on the deaf ears, because perhaps somehow our government has not actually done enough what they should have done. But what can we do? We have a very small country of a small population, and our voice in Europe is fairly okay. But it's Europe who's doing still not taking a bigger action. Imagine if China and would come and start bombing the Israelis right, left and centre, start killing people there. What would happen? The world would cry anti-Semitism. The world would cry, oh, the Jews are under attacks and all that. It's not the Jews, it's the Zionist regime that has been actually making the whole world see this atrocity, this obnoxious behavior, and nobody can dare to say anything. Nobody can. Yes, you can talk about that every day. There is a news, 9 o'clock news on RTE1, reams and reams of Irish Times and Independence has been filled with the tiny details of that. But what is doing all of that? What exciting people? When I read the news, when I hear the news on radio and television, I get depressed, because I cannot do anything. As an individual, nobody can do anything. You got to do things in collective, and the bigger bodies must take an action. Anyway, it's a very, very grim situation. It is a very, world is still watching. World is still seeing what is going on, and nobody can actually say anything about it. So that is the state of affair of that part of the world. Yes, so a lot of people are praising Donald Trump that he went to the region and he did not to say hello to his friend Benjamin Netanyahu, because he was too busy collecting trillions with the Saudis and Qataris and UAE guys. There was a brilliant cartoon that these three kings are standing at the airport saying goodbye to him, and his suitcase was full of billions and trillions of dollars, and in fact their clothes. So he has stripped these three nations, literally have taken at least 3 trillion from Qatar, from Saudi Arabia and from UAE. Now that money belongs to the people. Now, how he is going to manage all that, how he's going to collect it, remains to be seen. And these things are beyond the understanding of a common man. So, he, as I said, he was too busy and his hands were too full to go to Gaza or to go to Israel to meet Netanyahu. But we all know that he's an old friend, who is an old pal. So that's it. And I would be taking on that note Mukesh, and today I will remain with Mukesh. So song have not been played, so there you go. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the music of the Mukesh.
Come on. एक प्यार का नगमा है, मौजों की रवानी है, जिंदगी और कुछ भी नहीं, तेरी मेरी कहानी है।
जी मेरे भाइयों, मुकेश and जिंदगी तेरी मेरी एक कहानी है, and wonderful songs by Mukesh, which are still with us, and I would like to pay tribute to Mukesh today in our program, and hopefully it will balance it out, the kind of heavy talk we did in the first half of the program, because sometimes, you know, you get emotional, you get depressed, you get sad, you get when you hear and imbibe the news of the world, when you see, sometimes people switch off. I don't know how they can. I can't, because I'm the person of the media. I'm the professional individual who do feel that it is my moral duty to talk about something which is not right. And indeed, that is what it's all about. The journalists all around the world would do that. But this particular time of the 21st century, we're living, as Sharad has quite rightly has said in his piece, that is shocking, that instead of making a world better place, we're making a worse place for humanity and all that. So what happened right now, what is going on between neighboring country, India and Pakistan, and indeed all of the other countries of the world, particularly in the Middle East and all that. Middle East will be made very poor by the time, you know, the Donald Trump will go from his power in the next 4 or 5 years. He will make, you know, the Middle East really poor by sucking up the blood of those nations. You know, and he thinks, and the American thinks that likes of Howard Lutnick and all the gang, I would call it a gangster, because they are all gangsters going around the world, grabbing money, labeling Ireland as the tax scam country. And I mean, hello, I really am. Is our government is saying, no, our government is too tame, small, and we have too much stakes on our hands, so we can't really say much. I mean, we can do anything. Whatever you do, don't say. Whatever say nothing, is the kind of policy that we have adopted that. Because if we do, what we have to do, as one positive thing has come out of this particular obnoxious behaviour of Donald Trump to the world, is that UK, our next door neighbour, for years and years, yes, we have come up with the peace with Northern Ireland through United Kingdom. I don't know anybody who saw the Belfast, the beautiful black and whitely shot film by Kenneth Branagh, the wonderful, British actor. It was on television actually last Monday, I think it was, last week. Anyway, so we have made friends. We have got peace process going. We have peace prevailing in Northern Ireland. And so why not open up the trade? You know, the sorting out the fishing rights, which is happening. The Keir Starmer has done one good thing, and he was promising when he was in opposition in Labour Party, that if he get elected, which he did get elected, landslide victory, after that idiot, Rishi Sunak, snake I call it, when he came, he said the biggest mistake that would happen under the Tory was Brexit. Why Brexit happened? It has consequences. UK had got lost opportunities with European, partners and things like that, because Europe is bigger than UK. Europe economy is bigger than UK economy, and we could have a good cordial relationship with our neighbours across the pond, as we call it. So the fishing rights has been talked about it, and there has been a very cordial relationship and meeting between Ursula von der Leyen and Keir Starmer last week, and they discussed cooperation in economic cooperation. That is a sensible way out. That is a sensible way to lift up the economy of what you lose, this 20% tariff, this 30% tariff, and all that nonsense that he came to create on poor businessmen who are really would suffer because of all of that. Anyway, few minutes left and a song is still going in the background. I would play that song and I would say goodbye. Thank you very much indeed, Charmaine, and thank you very much indeed, Sharad, for contribution today. And of course, Richard and Lee here in the studio. And bye for now. I shall be back next week, same time, same place. Don't forget to tune me in. Bye for now.